In 2006, ECW had a second chance at success when WWE started ECW as a new show. With Paul Heyman backing it and the hardcore fans wanting something different, this was sure to be a success. So what went wrong with WWE ECW? During the Monday Night Wars, there were two giants competing head-to-head, WWF and WCW. While this was going on, there was a revolution happening called ECW. They took the world by storm and had a huge hardcore fan base. When WCW was bought out by WWF, ECW closed around the same time. Lots of talent went to WWE, and the rest is history. Since WWE owned the tape library for ECW, they decided to put out a retrospective of the company, the rise and fall of ECW. This is one of the best-selling WWE DVDs of all time, and it even sparked an uprising. Because this did so well, Rob Van Dam thought it would be a perfect time to do an ECW reunion show. So, he pitched the idea to Vince McMahon, and he loved it. This one-night stand would go off perfectly, and the show was fantastic. This was supposed to be a one-off show, however, Vince thought there was still money in the ECW brand. WWE would run another one-night stand pay-per-view the following year, but this time, things would be different. WWE would use this opportunity to launch a third brand. They had Raw and SmackDown, but now ECW would be going live on Sci-Fi following the one-night pay-per-view. It wasn't as great as the first pay-per-view. However, they did have a terrific main event as John Cena would face Rob Van Dam. RVD was the Money in the Bank holder and would cash in to fight John Cena for the WWE Championship. Rob Van Dam would win it and become the new WWE Champion. Paul Heyman would come out and crown RVD the new ECW Champion. Now, Rob Van Dam was ECW and WWE Champion. Originally, the new ECW would be run in different venues and have a completely different look. They had some original ECW stars from back in the day, but Paul Heyman knew that he had to introduce new talent. It was an hour-long show with a mix of old school and new school ECW stars. And this was entirely fine, and they did a good job with creating new stars. During the Rob Van Dam title reign, he and Sabu got pulled over in a car. They were caught with pot in their car, and now they would get in trouble with WWE. Therefore, WWE forced Rob Van Dam to relinquish the ECW and WWE Championship because of this mistake. WWE decided to make Big Show the new ECW champion, and therefore Paul Heyman would then turn on RVD and become the new manager of Big Show. This actually worked out perfectly because ECW fans were very vocal and hated the Big Show. This was about the best thing they had with this version of WWE ECW. One of the final nail in the coffin was when ECW ran one of the lowest buy rate pay-per-views of all time, December to Dismember. This would have Bobby Lashley winning the ECW title in the main event. Paul Heyman was fighting tooth and nail for all of his ideas and thought he knew what was best for the ECW brand. However, Vince just simply saw things differently. Paul Heyman was eventually removed from his role, and ECW became just another third brand. They stopped running shows on their own and began touring with the regular WWE shows. ECW eventually became a developmental show to feature talent from FCW. In time, WWE canceled ECW and began NXT. WWE ECW got off the ground because a DVD had great sales and a reunion show launched a TV product. WWE ECW could have continued in the original format with the hardcore fans if WWE and Vince McMahon wanted that to happen. Once Paul Heyman was phased out, Vince saw no real money in the ECW brand. What Vince McMahon wanted all along was a development territory to bring up new talent for both Raw and SmackDown. ECW did launch the careers of CM Punk, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, and Bobby Lashley. That's all Vince ever really wanted from WWE ECW. He didn't care about the legacy of ECW or any of the original stars, unless they could make him a bunch of money. If Paul Heyman would have been in charge longer, we may have never seen NXT, but instead, ECW would be the Wednesday night show on the WWE Network.